Okay, so took a few minutes to polish this up and just some green Scotch-Brite and alcohol on the lathe, and I think it looks a lot better. I realized the little channels that are in this plate too are also really greasy, so I want to soak those in something. I just soaked them in some diesel I had in a bucket and drained it and then blew everything out, so get all the dirt and everything out. I went and I put the back bearing on here, slid right on, no problem. The only thing I realized after I did that was there's some play. I don't believe this side is supposed to move. I believe all the movement is here with the this little groove has the clutch pulls that go in and out. So this piece is missing something, and wouldn't you know, I had this in the bag of parts, so I bet that goes right in there. So anyways, 4 screws, that slides out, this will slide in, and we'll be done with that. So why don't we just do that on camera right now real quick so I can show you guys what this looks like if you haven't seen it. The other thing I wanted to mention is the front nose here. I started putting screws in, and then, you know, there was some resistance, so I just took my mallet and I tapped around, and it kept going in further and further until I was able to tighten the screws completely tight, and there wasn't any gap there. So definitely want to do that, but make sure your nut here is plenty loose on your spindle, because you don't want to be screwing this end in and screwing this end at the same time. You want to load all your bearings here and then come in with your nut to cinch up the preload on the bearing. At least that's what I believe you have to do. If anyone knows better, leave some notes in the comments, but that's the plan for me. I never like assembling things and having them be tight. It happens, but you know, in this case I was able to screw in the screws snug and just tap on it, and everything kind of like came in really slow, which is, you know, usually means you're doing it right. So, of course this piece is going to be Euro paint, right? Okay, here we go. So there's our sealed bearing, nothing special. Now just a word about this. This isn't the most precise thing in the world. Your bearings are up here, they're matched tapered bearings, and they're tightened together. So that's what gives you all your accuracy. This just means you can lean on the lathe, and the back end won't move too much before it gets supported by a bearing. So there's less precision here than there is on the other side. So we put our spacer in here. It goes on really nice. Make sure this is all the way in. Now my lathe has these threaded holes here, and I'm putting them in horizontal because I see some witness marks here. I believe these are jack screws, so if this gets stuck, you thread in screws here at the same time, it pops out. We just had it apart, so it wasn't really going anywhere. I'm kind of pushing here and tapping here. Now again, our final preload isn't even set on the spindle nose bearing, so there's still a little bit of springiness and compliance in the whole thing. So now this is tight in the bore. All we gotta do is retain it so nothing falls out. So once these are in, we're good to go. You notice I didn't polish the back here. It's going to be behind the cover, and any gears and all kinds of things around it, so it's cleaned. It's not rusty. Can live with it. I'll just snug these down and we're good to go. So next time when we come back, either be the same video or our next one, depending on how long it is, I'm going to be trying to install all the little shifter pieces and everything. And since I took this down and bead blasted everything, or soda blasted in my case, I had to get everything out of here. So this is like these little channels here for a rod that has the pawls in it that move this thing back and forth. Yeah, just some more shots of the lathe headstock. As you can see, the back gear's over there to the right, and I wanted to show you the underside of this because it doesn't really get shown well in the manual. But there's a gear here. This guy here engages this little gear here on the bull. Not the bull gear, but the back gear assembly. And because there's an eccentric shaft in here, this whole back gear moves in and out as you're turning this. It just so happens that's what's tied to your handle, which right now I just have a little screwdriver in. That's not the whole story, because as you know, the gears have to switch in and out of engagement in order to make up the spindle lock and the spindle loose condition. But the main actuation is those little gears twisting a full 180 degrees, or just beyond 180, to bring the back gear from all the way down to all the way up. And again, that's done by this guy here. So as that turns, you can kind of see the eccentric action in there, sort of. But yeah, you'll have to trust me, it's in there. You can see it on the gear how it's offset. So we look in here, I have a couple of these little fork arms, and I installed those before I did any of this stuff. So there's a shaft that goes down through two bores in the casting, and there's a little arm on each side. What those arms do is that they move this, what do they call this guy? Bull gear, in and out. So it's kind of hard to do one-handed, but yeah, there we go. See, as I turn this, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little pin right down there that goes into a divot on what they call the cam here, and that divot makes it right up and flex this arm out against the spring tension and pulls this guy back or forward. Of course, if you let it, it'll drop right in and engage. Those are locked up now. So that's how you get your loose spindle and free spindle. But also when the back gears come up and it's engaged, you're going to get a locked spindle, and then when it finally disengages, you're going to get transmission from this gear to that gear and then back to this gear, which gives you your division of 6-to-1 on the back gears. Now, can I get some light up here, my assistant? Do you have that flashlight? Can I see it? Thank you. You look down there, you can see. You think you could hold this? Yeah.
Stop.
Ian, do you think you could hold this just like that? Yeah, so it's really hard to see. Right there. That's the cam. You can see right in there, there's a little angled slot. So Boom, it fell in right there. Okay, thank you, Ian. Now, there's a little more to the cam. It's been easier just to twist it with one hand here, but if I were to get on this, pull it up, it rises in that taper, which is when you pull the handle out and turn it, it disengages the dowel, but it's also riding up in the taper so that the arms are slowly moving up, and then when you turn it, it doesn't have to really break out of that cam position as hard as it would if it was all the way down. So there's kind of a lot to it, but it's pretty clever and has to be installed a certain way. I will note that this back gears, or whatever you want to call it, the centered drive, it's got spacers here right above it, and you want to make sure you get those in there when you take it apart and then when you put it back together, because that's going to set engagement with your back gears. So now I should be ready to install my back gears. Just didn't want to do it before I showed you guys. Now, this thing is really clever. There's also this guy here, which goes in here and sits so clever I can't figure it out. Yeah, let me see. Yep, goes in here and sits kind of like on that. I'm not gonna drive it all the way in. Can you move your hand, buddy? I'm not gonna drive it all the way in, but what I think happens here is when this is all the way down, this guy moves in and out on another part of the cam down here. There's some cutouts and it engages the lock. I don't really like the lock. It's kind of looks kind of be fussy, and I really question how well this little arm is gonna stop the motor. So